So I am new to doing YouTube videos. I've never done one before, but I'm a big believer in YouTube videos, and they've really helped me learn a lot of stuff about the military lifestyle and the Marines. And as I've been with my fiancé kind of through his journey in the Marine Corps, I have loved watching YouTube videos, and they always just kind of bring me peace, and they help me feel better about whatever stage of the process he's going through, just to hear other people's stories. So I thought I would just make a quick video, not sure how quick it will be, but a video on MCT, which is what he just completed. We are MCT for Camp Geiger, so if you're in California and your man is going out there, I really don't know anything about that. I can only speak from our experience, which was Camp Geiger. So that leads me into my next point of just wanting to also preface this by saying that this was our experience, and everybody's is going to be a little bit different, and that applies, I think, to everything so far, boot camp and MCT included. Our experience looked different than anybody's YouTube video I watched, anybody's story I read. Ours was different. So always try to keep that in mind, and just kind of use this as a platform for you to kind of understand somebody's experience, but just know that yours is going to be different, and it might take shape in different forms, and that's fine. So anyways, I'm in my dorm room, which is what you see behind me. I'm still in school while Zachary is doing all of this training. So anyways, I'm going to dive right into MCT, and if this video is helpful, then I will try to make another one about boot camp and walk you through that, which will definitely be longer. So MCT, Camp Geiger, Zach graduated from boot camp in the middle of August. I believe it was August 19th. He enjoyed his 10-day leave. It was wonderful. It was great. And so now you're to the point, and they're about to leave for MCT. So with Zachary, he booked a Greyhound bus ticket, is how he was going to get there. And it actually ended up being like, it was a full day of Greyhound bus tickets and layovers, and all of that is how he got to Geiger. I did know some people brought their son or daughter or whatever to Camp Geiger, and that was what they did, and I'm not sure how that worked out for them, but Zach did the Greyhound, and there was actually quite a few Marines on his bus. When I initially dropped him off at the first Greyhound bus station where he left from, there was about 2 or 3, and I think by the time he was halfway done, there was like 20 of them. So that should be comforting to you guys that are maybe worried about how the bus works. They are in a group, they stick together. I know Zach watched a couple of the guys' gear while they went to go eat, and they look out for each other, and they keep up with each other, which was a big comfort to me, just to know that he had a group of guys there that was all kind of, they had each other's backs. So I believe for the most part, they usually arrive on a Tuesday, I think, and I'm going to double check on that really quick because I'm not wanting to tell you wrong. There is a matrix. If you're a part of the MCT Facebook page, then you can see the matrix. I use that. It's very brief. They do arrive on a Tuesday. So this matrix is just very generic. And he arrived on a Tuesday. He did get checked in, and everything was just fine. There were some rumors about MCT being backed up, but I really don't think that's a thing. I usually think if anything's going to be backed up, it would be their MOS. So don't worry about MCT being backed up. I don't think that that's a normal thing to happen. So once Zach was on the bus, it was nice because I left him and then he had his phone. But once he got to MCT and he got checked in, we went through about 5 different times where he was like, this is my last text, and then it wouldn't be, and eventually they did take their phones. So communication. You want to know if your son or daughter or your spouse or boyfriend, whatever, your significant other, are they going to be able to communicate? And this was my experience. The answer to that is no. Zachary told me that he wrote letters. I got one during MCT, which I think was pretty rare for that to even happen. He said that he did write a couple others, and the mail just didn't work and never got to us. We never saw them. He wrote some to his mom, some to me, some to my family. And we never saw those. So I would just tell you that I would just kind of go into it with the mindset of you're not going to talk to them for the time, because I don't think that that's usually how it works. I did send him letters. He took a picture. There was a picture on a wall somewhere that had the address, and I was able to get that early on, and I didn't even wait for a form letter. I see a lot of people freak out about the form letters. Some people don't get them. It's ridiculous. Like, we didn't get ours until probably 2.5 weeks in, and by that point we had already been writing letters because of the address that we had seen. Someone had taken a picture and sent it, and that's how we knew his address. So I actually did send him a care package while he was there, and he got it. The nice thing about the care packages is if you, first of all, make sure you do it through the United States Postal Service. Don't use FedEx or any of those, because sometimes they won't deliver to P.O. boxes and they require signatures. So mail with your USPS. It's wonderful. They gave me a tracking number. I saw it go all the way there. I saw that he had gotten it. It is a little bit of a shot in the dark, because you're not going to be getting a letter probably confirming or denying that they got it. So I did a very small one, did not spend a lot of money. But I just put some items in there, like he loves Doritos and some Chips Ahoy and some just fun stuff like that, and nothing too expensive. So when he got it, it was just a small little surprise, and if he didn't get it and it got thrown away, it was not like I had put a bunch of money into it. So I would just tell you, if you are into care packages, maybe go a little less extravagant route, would be my advice to you on that. But yes, write letters. I definitely did not write as many as I did in boot camp. I think maybe all in all I wrote 4 or 5. So, just keep that in mind. It's definitely not the scale that boot camp is. It's much shorter, and you shouldn't, be super worried about it, because it goes by fast, I think, on both ends. For me, it went by quickly. For him, it went by quickly. And before you know it, we were up there, and now he's on to the next thing. So that's kind of how that worked. But yeah, it's silence for most of the time, but they're doing fine. Don't worry about it, because they've got it under control. And then moving to sort of, should you go up there? Should you try to make the graduation or the family day or any of those things? My personal answer to you would be yes. We got to spend a great amount of time with Zachary. My dad and I and his mother went up there on a Saturday, and this is another thing. They tell you that they get their phones back, and there's kind of rumor, like word on the street is, when he was in, was, hey, they get their phones back this Saturday before graduation. So it would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, graduation is how that would work. So that Saturday they get their phones back, and so we're up in Camp Geiger. I made sure that our flights were in the morning so that I could be ready to take the call and ready for all of those things. And 4 o'clock passed, no call. 5 o'clock, no call. 6, 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Now we're getting into the 9 o'clock range, and I'm freaking out because I don't think that we're getting a phone call, and a bunch of other mothers on the MCT page and girlfriends and stuff, we're all just like, what is going on? They're not calling. And, that would be one of those things where I would say ours just happened to look a little bit different. The week before, they got their phones in the morning, like 11:30 or something, and they were texting and FaceTiming, and, that was not us. They got their phones at about 9:50. Zach called. It was super, just quick phone call, whatever, and then he turned it in by 10. So he literally got it for 10 minutes, which I think was pretty much the norm for his group and his platoon and company and all of that. I think all of them were falling in the range of about 10 minutes. So I would just tell you, don't panic. they may get their phones back. A lot of people told me, you know, because I would be posting on Facebook, like, has anyone heard from them? Just hoping that, like, you know, if one person hears from them, then, you know, you all might, you know, your chances go up, but nobody had heard from them, so I was a little bit sad, and I was just like, this isn't gonna happen. But don't give up. I would say if you're not getting a call by 10, then go to bed, just live your life. It's okay. Keep your phone on loud, and if they call later, then that's fine. But that would be my experience with a phone call. And on Sunday we got there. It says on your letter if you do get a form letter, which, like I said, not sure that that's a guarantee. Not everybody gets one of those. So, you know, I think it says that you don't get Liberty, or they don't get Liberty until about 1:45 maybe. I'm going to double check that as well. On this it says on-base Liberty on Sunday is 1:30 to 8 is what that says in the letter. We got there probably at about 11:30 maybe, because you are going to have to get a pass for your car. So this will get me into the transportation and getting on to Camp Geiger, which I know one of you has asked me about that. So really this is for you. I will tell you, the Facebook page was great and was very, very, very helpful, and I'm so thankful for that. So really I'm compiling a lot of information that I got off the Facebook page into one post and just sharing that. I used the address 1500 Curtis Road, or you can use the address 1990 Wilmington Highway. Both of those will get you in the area, and trust me, when you get in the area, you will see this. There's a massive sign that says, please pardon our noise, and it has the whole marine thing. You will know. So to get your parking pass, what you're going to want to do is go into the base, and when you're driving in, on your right-hand side is going to be a building before you go through the gates. You're not going to have to go through the gates to see this. The parking lot seemed to always be empty, so I thought maybe I was at the wrong building, but this is the right place. You're going to want to go in there, and you're going to want to get your pass to get on the base for, I believe ours, they said, lasted for a week, but really you only need it for like the 3 or 4 days you're going to be there. So go into that building, get that. There'll be an MP working at a desk. We rented a car because we flew, and so my dad brought his driver's license, and then his renter, the whole thing that the rental car company gives you, the big long thing, he brought that in, and then make sure you have your keys. They asked for our keys too. So those were the 3 things he brought, and they basically just type you up this little thing. It's a piece of paper, just printer size, and they'll give that to you. It actually probably took us less than 5 minutes to get that. We were in and out of there, and you just put that on your dash, and that will be your best bet. So I would advise you to get there early. We always got there early, so I never saw any lines, but I heard that if you were kind of lollygagging, that you're going to get caught up in the lines. So definitely go early as you can. We got through, we were there at about 11:30, got our pass. We're really on base at 12, and then we were able to find the barracks on the base, and I won't give directions to those because, you know, if you're really going on there, then you should be able to find those because it was exactly what the form letter said. So whatever your form letter says, you follow that, and you should be able to find it. It should be no problem. And also, don't be afraid to ask the gate guards at the front, you know, for directions if you need directions, because we did that at Paris Island and at Camp Geiger, and they were always so sweet and very helpful. I know they look kind of intimidating because they're just, you know, I was always like, oh wow, look at them. But they're really sweet, and they were very helpful with us. So make sure you just have your driver's license. They'll ask for that again at the gate, and they'll want to see your piece of paper, but beyond that, you should be fine. So we got there, and Zach actually got released a little bit early on Sunday, but it was such a good amount of time, more than Paris Island's family day, which is crazy. So we got a bunch of time. The only thing about this is they do need to stay on base. And they're going to be briefed on this, and they're going to know exactly what they need to do, so you shouldn't worry about, are we following the rules? They should be well informed on what they're going to be expected to do. And so hopefully that clears up any confusion about how to get on the base and what that all looks like. Those addresses, I'll give those to you. I'll put those in the comments just in case, like, you know, you didn't pick up on them, but you should be fine. Let's see. Yeah, so we got there. We got to spend a great amount of time with him. Zach loves the MCX. He loves going there, so that's something to do. We went to the MCX. We pretty much went to everything that they had to offer. So if, you know, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on what all of that looks like. There is an MCX that's a lot smaller than Paris Islands, I will tell you. Definitely not the same, but nonetheless, it's cool and everything is definitely more affordable there. So we went there, and then we went to, we actually ended up, food. That's what I'm going to talk about next. Food. We ended up ordering from Chewy's Mexican restaurant outside of the base and bringing it in because that's what Zach wanted. You do have food options on the base. You can bring Wendy's, you can go to Wendy's on the base. There's a Subway on the base. There's a Noble Roman's Pizza. There is, let's see, I think those are like your three main options for food. Of course, there is the MCX, like if you just want candy or chips or something like snack food, you can get that there, but it's not like the Paris Island MCX where there's like the little restaurants and the little food court thing. That does not exist here, so don't count on that. This is literally just like shopping when you get in this MCX. But yeah, I would say that for us, ordering and bringing it in was great. I know there's some places that do deliver to the base, so that's another option. You would have to look that up on your own. That's not the route that we went with, but I saw on Facebook some people did that, and it looked like it went well for them, so feel free to try that. But yeah, it's just a great amount of time. We just grabbed a park bench, and we sat around and just spent time together and walked around the MCX, and we went to the bowling alley. That's another place where there is food, is the bowling alley. I did not actually eat that food, so I don't know if it's good or not, but I've heard it's fine. So went to the bowling alley. We sat there for a little bit, and they have the games were going on and stuff like that, so that's fun. And then there's the rally point, which I never actually went into, but I've heard that that's like a cool hangout spot. You'll see a lot of Marines there that don't have family members that come for the family day or the Sunday of free time that they get. And I think that that was a pretty popular place for them, so that might not be like the family place. It's just like a hangout place for the people that don't have families. But we just grabbed a park bench outside and just enjoyed time with him, and got to ask him, his mom got to ask all her questions and, you know, get to know everything. And we got to take pictures, and it was fun. Another cool place to go is the marina. We didn't go there until family day, but it's beautiful. So that's definitely another place to check out. And it's right on the water, and they have these lawn chairs that are really cute, and that's lots of fun. There's no restaurant there, but it's a good just hangout spot and change of scenery if you're interested in that. So that was our Sunday, and then Monday is family day. Monday, we did attend the Links class, which I would suggest to anyone who is probably, if you're watching this video and you have questions on MCT, then you should probably attend the Links class, because this is a class offered by the Family Center on base, and it was great. Like, it was very informative, and you know, I really have done my research, and I really do look into everything really intensely, so wasn't a ton of groundbreaking stuff for me, but I could tell that my dad and his mom were learning a lot as they were in the class, and so I think it would be definitely well worth your time. It's free, and here's the thing, I was apprehensive to go because I thought that it might take away from time with Zach, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be stuck in this class, and if he gets out, then I don't want to, like, you know, my heart was a little torn. So I will tell you right now, though, in our experience, you should go to this class and don't worry about missing time with them. They are not going to get out while you're in this class. In fact, we went through the whole class, we got out of the class, and then we waited another like 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours afterwards for him to get family day. So it is well worth your time to go to this. You are not going to be missing out on time with them. Just not going to happen. His command came in at the end. He was a captain. He wasn't directly like over Zach's company, over Fox company, which Zach was in. He was, I don't really know what he was, but he was kind of like, I think he was kind of over MCT. And he even told us in the meeting, he was like, they're probably going to get released in an hour, ballpark. And then it ended up being an hour and a half. This just is something that you will learn to accept. Hurry up and wait is really a thing, and these was one of those times where hurry up and wait. That's what we did. And then when Zach got out on family day, we did they do a dinner at the command, or the officers club. They did a dinner. We went to that. You do pay to go to that. It's not free. You like pay per person. My dad and we thought it would be cool because, Zach probably won't get another chance to go into an officers club. But we went right at like 4, which is when Zach got out. It was about 4 for family day that day. And we were the only ones there. And Zach's in his camis, and Zach's a PFC, and these guys are obviously higher ranking, and so it was a little bit uncomfortable, I think, for him to be around people of that much superiority. And so definitely just be aware of that they will be there, and if that's something that your Marine isn't comfortable with, you're really not missing out on that much. So it's totally should be something that's up to them if they really want to go or not. For us, it was more of like, we don't want to eat fast food one more time, and the food was great there. So if you are like just really dying for a great meal, then you can just deal with the awkward and go here. But yeah, ask your Marine about that. Ask them what they're comfortable with, if they're comfortable being around, higher ranking Marines, or if they would be more comfortable just kind of hanging around with their buddies. I know some people grilled out. I cannot speak to that at all. I didn't even see anyone doing that, so I really don't know how that works, but you guys can figure that out on your own. That was just our experiences. That's where we went. And then lastly, graduation. There's a briefing right before, and your form letter mentions this as well. There's a briefing right before graduation, and we were all geared up, ready to go to the briefing, and Zach called me and said that he was just hanging out. They had freedom, and people's families could come hang out with them. So I walked over there. My dad and his mom stayed in the meeting, and it was a good amount of time. We got about an hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours with him before graduation, and you're just standing in a parking lot. I mean, Zach and I were just sitting on a curb, but it was sweet because it was time with him, and I really enjoyed that. So I would tell you, definitely, I don't know if that's how it works for everybody, so don't necessarily just ditch the briefing and think that they're automatically going to get time. I don't know how that works. We just did, so maybe go to the briefing, and if you hear from them, then leave the briefing. But, of course, that was just one of those things where we got that extra time. And then he went into graduation. Graduation is quick. They are not messing around. We started early. It literally lasted 10 minutes. They just stand there, and that's it. So this is what I would tell you. If you're going, go because you want to spend time with them. Don't go because you're expecting this grand graduation. They are very clear, and they will tell you, this is not Paris Island. We are not going to have a band. We're not going to do the whole marching around. None of that happens. It's literally, they stand there, they will recognize, certain people, and then it's done. They pray twice, which is like, that's pretty much all, and then, yeah, it's over. And so if that's you and then your Marine is going to go to their MOS, then this won't apply to you. But if your Marine is going to be Camp Guard for Camp Geiger, I can speak to that a little bit as well. Zachary got Camp Guard for Camp Geiger, and that's where he's currently, what he's doing right now. And so I will tell you, I don't know exactly what it's like for as far as MOS, but they are prompt with it. It's funny because they're prompt the times that you don't want them to be, and then they're like slow the times when you're like, hurry up, give them to us, but they're quick to take them away. So what it appeared to me to be is that people that were going to their MOS, they had a little bit of time after graduation, and I'm not exaggerating, maybe 5 minutes, and then they went right back to their barracks. They changed into, people that were flying changed into civilian clothes. People that are staying close by, sometimes they stay in their camis. So they changed into their civilian clothes, and then the buses showed up, and they were leaving. They were hauling them out. So don't think that, like, you're going to get a lot of time then, because I don't think that you will. With Zach, for Camp Guard had to clean up the graduation, so he had to go back, like, immediately. But my dad and I booked a late flight. We booked a 5 p.m. flight that night on Tuesday. And we got to spend a fair amount of time with Zach. Of course, you don't know exactly like how much time they're going to get or anything like that. It would literally, Zach would be like, okay, I gotta go clean. So then my dad and I would go back to the car, and then he'd be like, oh, I have some free time. So then we would come back and spend time with him. So you're gonna have to be really flexible and work with him. But if you have the freedom to just spend some time, if your Marine does get Camp Guard afterwards, I think it's well worth that. Another thing with that is we didn't know he had Camp Guard until I talked to him on Saturday. So if you're going to fly, that might not be the best option for you. I would say if you're going to fly and it's like it's going to be randomized how they're picked for Camp Guard. There's no like rhyme or reason, and they will tell you this as well. They literally pick them out of a computer, so there's really no way for you to know. I didn't even know Camp Guard was a thing until Zach called and told me about it. But my dad and I were willing to pay the fees in the airfare tickets to switch it to a later date. So I would say if you are flying, maybe give yourself that a little bit of freedom, like book a 2 p.m. or a 3 p.m. Or if you got to get back, I understand that. The good thing is that, if they do get Camp Guard and you have a flight and it's immediately proceeding, they're going to have their phones, and so you're going to enjoy spending that time with them and hearing them, and they can call you and stuff like that. So don't get super caught up in it, but if it's something that you're really into and you're debating, you get the call from them on Saturday and they say Camp Guard and you're debating changing. In my experience, like I said, different for everyone, but in my experience, there was one other mom that stayed, and she got to spend a lot of time with her daughter, and I got to spend a fair amount of time with Zachary. And it was really sweet, and I was thankful for that time. So, keep your options open. Wow, that ended up being 30 minutes, but hopefully that was straightforward and will answer a lot of questions for you, and that's MCT. So if you have any questions, you can always comment about them or anything like that. I'd be more than happy to answer them, but always remember, my experience might be different than yours, so just keep that in mind. But that's me sharing my experience, and hopefully that answers some of the questions that I see coming up a lot. But yep, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it was helpful.